Hello, we are live on Witchy Wednesday. So let me start with just the intro. Well, good night. We are back for another Witchy Wednesday episode. We are here with Jess Tea Cakes. I'm going to allow you to introduce yourself.
I'm Jess, Tea Cakes, of course. You can find me on Instagram. Here to talk about all your Witchy Wednesday needs.
Perfect. And I am Big Cherry at Big Cherry OF on Instagram, or you can find me on bigbigcherry.com and you can see all my links there. Now, today we are going to have a very interesting topic. We're going to do it based on a TikTok trend. I know that TikTok opened their shop in the United States, so now there's a bunch of products that are going viral and everything. And one of them that I ran into is this product here. That is the shadow journal. I know that there's different ones. This is specifically the one that caught my attention, but we're going to talk about other options too. This is the second edition. I know some people in the videos have the first one. I believe that this one is more extensive. It said that it had more prompts and like for things for you to fill in. The other one doesn't have as many. So that's why I was recommended the second version. Well, Jess, let me ask you, like, do you have your own shadow work journal? Like, how do you do shadow work and what is it? Because you know what it is. So tell us what it is.
It's essentially working through your triggers and working on your shadow self and your dark side and your wounds and healing what needs to be healed. It can be a very triggering process, so you have to absolutely be sure that you're ready to do the work. If possible, doing it in conjunction with therapy is also very helpful. But yeah, I have a little journal here as well. It's for beginners. So I was like, I've done a little bit of shadow work in the past. I think it's called reparent. I did like the reparenting kind.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can get into that as well. But I haven't started this one yet because I'm like, am I ready? Am I ready? We'll see.
We want to say hi to the people watching us right now. Thika Bell is here. Hi. We have Hoshang saying, are you coming to Los Angeles? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. We have Nikisha Bell has joined us.
Greetings.
Now,
Greetings. So,
before
look,
video, I just to know the reason why we're having this conversation, like some of the TikToks. What were you gonna say, Nikki?
I was stuffing my face. I'm sorry. I'm late.
No worries. Yeah, I get it. Okay, so I'm gonna show a series of videos that we're gonna discuss afterwards. First of all, it's a little review of the journal and a little explanation of what Jess just said. But from the people that inspired us to do this episode, we want to give credit to them, of course. First, we have Kira C. James on.
Okay, babe, I'm gonna be real with you. The only reason why you're still people pleasing, you're still hyper vigilant, you're still codependent, anxious, depressed, is because you're not doing your shadow work. Most of our insecurities, most of our hurt, pain, we project it outwards into our life. We project it onto other people, and it's all stemming from our childhood, our teenage years, the trauma we experience, the pain that we experience, the neglect, the wounds that we have accumulated when we were younger still sit with us. We are wounded children in adult bodies, okay? One of the most successful ways to get that out of your system, heal those wounds, and step into the most confident, unapologetically you version you ever been is shadow work or therapy. But a lot of us don't have the access to therapy. It's very expensive. So shadow work is basically just like self-therapy. It's very popular like in the spiritual community that look at your shadow side, but your shadow side is really just your wounded side. It's your dark side. It's the side that you repress down and you don't want the world to see, and you don't even want to see it. And it can be super, super uncomfortable to bring up and look at those insecurities, look at that wounding, look at those things that we have repressed for years. But once you look at them, you will stop projecting them and you will become a version of yourself that you won't even recognize. I started my shadow work journey like 3 years ago, actually. I'm thinking, 3 years ago. And I tell you, I'm a completely different person. And I'm so grateful that I have stepped into this journey because I have found my purpose. I have found my passion. I have gained confidence. I stopped people pleasing. It's just so much that has helped me from shadow work. And my shadow work journey, I had to do it intuitively because I didn't find any journals or anything that could help me. I had to Google prompts and stuff like that. But I saw that the TikTok shop had the shadow work journal. So I decided to check it out and see if it was actually helpful and if it can help you guys on your shadow work journey. So I've been doing it for the last few days, and yeah, it definitely gets into it. Look, it has the conscious and the unconscious. It has different inner child wounds that you could have had, like abandonment wound, guilt wound, trust wound, neglect wound. And you can literally write a letter to your inner child, fill in these blanks. Right here, as a child, I was told not to blank. This made me very blank. Like, it gets into it, okay? So if you are a beginner or if you just don't know how to get into shadow work, I recommend the shadow work journal. But I'm gonna give y'all the biggest tea. I always give y'all the tea. I recommend getting a journal on the side, just a plain loose leaf, and going deeper into every prompt that you do in this book and just brain dump and get all that trauma out. Okay, I'm running out of time, so I hope this helps. The link is right here. And
okay, so you can follow her on Kira C. James on TikTok. But yeah, that was the inspiration for this conversation. I found it very interesting because I don't have a journal. I've never done like shadow work purposely. I have done therapy, but I did stop because I forget to make my appointments, ADHD and all that. Um, but I will say that it is very interesting because I guess since I started therapy, I kind of started talking more about like my childhood trauma and everything, and like communicating it more. I did communicate it a little bit to my mom, and I have expressed like a little bit of those things to my mom, but they're usually things about my dad and me like telling her, but not really her things. And there are a lot of her things. So you know what I mean? Like I kind of like limit myself there, which I think we
You have
all
to have boundaries, and that's good. Yeah.
yes, yes. But oh hey, we have Rosie here in the audience.
Hi, Rosie.
They said that the shadow work has been messy. You know, it sounds like it. Everything I've heard from y'all talking about shadow work is that it gets deep, it gets messy, it gets intense. Now, question, because I've heard y'all talk about it. You talked about there being crystals that actually help with this process and that makes it, I don't know, more deeper or something. Like, what is it? What are they?
Well, the cliche one that you might have heard, I think around 2020 on TikTok, it was really popping. It was moldavite, which is a tektite, I believe. It's not a crystal. It's like, I think it was Nikki. I don't know if you know about it, but help me out. I don't know if she's back, but I think it's a tektite.
I actually remember when that happened. When all of a sudden it was just an ambush and everybody wanted to get motorbike, and you had to be careful because motorbike is very rare.
Yeah.
You cannot just go get it because you can get fake motorbike.
Yeah.
So,
you have to like get it from an actual crystal shop that they know what their sources are.
Right.
You can't just get it on Amazon. I'm sure there are some real ones on Amazon, but I would go to like an actual shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone that actually digs up their crystals and can source you, hey, this is where this crystal comes from.
Yeah, Rosie calls it healing her inner teenager. I understand that. Jason, hello. See you. Platinum, she's not at every show, but I don't know where she is tonight. She's probably doing something else. I don't know.
But Moldavite, so Moldavite for me, I was just like, just a cute little crystal, right? You know? But you know what it did? It launched me into one of the biggest tower moments of my life. So if you don't know where to start, you got to be careful with certain crystals and stuff, of course. I didn't really know that at the time. But it's one of those things, if you do research it, it can launch you into the path that you need to go down for your healing. And mine, I won't get into too many details because I don't want to re-trigger myself or anyone else. But let's just say I had to get sober. I had to, do a lot of things. It was very eye-opening. So I would say 2020 is when my shadow work healing journey started.
Wow. Rosie here tells us that she did a lot of trauma work for healing the inner child, and that's more compassion-based, and inner teen healing has a lot more aggression. Oh, wow. Interesting. In my case, it probably would have to be the teenager, because I feel like inner child, I already looked into it. I am definitely going to show a video of some of the prompts that journal that's going viral on TikTok has, because I just want to show why it looks so interesting to me. But before I show that video, how has been your journey with shadow work, Nikki?
This is the thing about shadow work for me. Life, you really have to dig. I would say if you have issues with your parents, talk to them while they are alive. Please, I beg you. I beg you, I beg you, I beg you, please. Because when you have to do shadow work and they're no longer here, baby, that's a tough spot to be in. Because now you can get answers from the spiritual side, but it's not the same. It's not the same when you can have that physical conversation with them. Both of my parents are deceased. So now it's like I have to go back. I have to accept that I won't get apologies for things that happened to me. I have to accept that I have to forgive, and I can't, you know what I'm saying? I can't say it out loud. Like I could, you know what I'm saying, to them. It will send you down a slippery slope fast, okay? I can't tell you how many times I've laid in the bed after doing shadow work all day. The next day, the day after that, and the day after that, because it's draining me. Or doing shadow work, and then what I'm shadowing or what I'm working on, it comes back up into life. Like, okay, you've got it, you've released it. Now I'm about to test you, and to know you failed the test because it was a trigger, so you relapsed to what you was comfortable to, and comfortable in how you responded, and now you have to do it all over again. And sometimes, and what people don't understand is that sometimes a cycle will happen every year. You ever realize you ever been through something? You're like, yo, I just went through this last year, or I just went through this 7 months ago. I just went through this. It's because you have not learned what you needed to learn, and it's like I don't want to learn it, but Spirit is gonna make sure you learn it. Either you're gonna learn it today, you're gonna learn it tomorrow, or you're gonna learn it 6 years from now. But you're gonna learn it, or it'll come back in the next lifetime if you're able to come back in the next lifetime. You know what I'm saying? So, like right now in the space that I'm in, is all I got is faith. That's all. I don't have nothing else. Nothing. Both parents gone. Job don't have. All I have right now, and I'm not gonna cry, is what I
Oh,
believe in. That's it. I ain't got nothing else. So to be in this space is hard. It is very hard because you got people looking at you, like those who look up to you, and you can't waver. You can't. You can have a moment, but after that, you
mm-hmm.
still got to pick it up, and you still got to try, and you still got to make sure like because life gonna go on. So shadow work is hard. It's hard. It is hard.
Hard but important.
Yeah, I find it very curious because like what you said about talk to your parents while you're alive. So I mentioned that I do talk sometimes to my mom, but it's usually about things about my dad. So it's not about her. Like things, obviously there are things that we have been through that it was very difficult. Basically, like my mom wanted me to be a certain way, and she did not understand my personality. And basically, she was like, she's just messed up because of who her dad is, basically. And in some way it's true because like I did not get diagnosed with having ADHD until I was 30 years old or 31 years old. So never knew that all that behavior. Now that I know, I look back, I look at TikToks, I like ADHD talk and all that stuff, and I'm like, all of those things, that was me as a teenager. And my mom could not understand it. And like, I'm the kind of person that is like, leave me alone, don't bother me. I want to be in my room, I want to do my own thing. My mom would be like, what's wrong with you? She wouldn't let me have peace. You know what I mean? So those kind of conversations I've kind of had them with her, like when I did get my diagnosis and I explained to her a lot of the things, and she was so like shocked, and she couldn't understand how she missed it. And she said it was my ignorance because I didn't know that was ADHD. I thought it was the hyper people, and you were the opposite of that. So I never knew what was wrong with you, and I just thought, it was because of your dad. And I was like, yeah, because my dad also has ADHD, you know what I mean? So she didn't know how to deal with me, basically. But there's a lot of things obviously that happened during my childhood, teenager years, and all that. So I've been talking to her about that, but not really gotten deep with her. So I feel like the journal will definitely help me a lot with that. In my dad's side, my dad and I basically have no relationship whatsoever. But I do remember that I did try to have that conversation with him. The last time we spoke, I did try to sit down and go like, this is what's been going on. You and I have never have been able to have a conversation in private because I'm trying not to get too deep into my relationship with my father, but basically my stepmom is always involved in everything, and she has, since I'm very young, has made it her goal to break our relationship. And she got it at the end of the day. She got it. But when I tried to have that conversation with him, and I tried to explain all these things and start having this conversation, she still was there and they still didn't let me speak. So even when you have your parents alive, there are times that it is just not fucking possible. And at this point, I said to myself, listen, you did everything you fucking could at this point, That's it. Now I have to do my healing on my own because I'm not gonna get the response, the apologies, or anything that I needed from him. Or
So
from
even though
that
he's still alive, it's still difficult. Yeah.
The funny thing is that I moved out of Puerto Rico here. All my family's in Puerto Rico. And every time people ask me if I have family here, I say no. But my dad literally lives right there. I can take the train to my dad. My dad, my stepmom, my two sisters with him. They're all there. They're in the city. They're the only family that I have here, actually, from my dad's side. And I still gotta say, no, I don't have family here because I can't have a relationship with them. So, and it's crazy because I've thought to myself, even like, when my sisters become 18, because they were younger than me, they did become 18 already, by the way, while I've been living here. And I said, I'm going to try to build a relationship with them afterwards and all. And they contacted me because they found me on TikTok. And we talked to each other and they messaged me and I was like, okay, now we can meet, you're an adult, we can hang out and all that. But as soon as we started talking, the first thing they tried to do was, that is not so bad. How about you talk to that? And I'm like, okay, but I did try. You know what I mean? Like,
but they also saw a different version of him.
Yeah, right? But it's very exactly because they didn't have that person in between try to break them up. They know a completely different father. You know what I mean? Like, I know a father that when I was born, like, he had issues with drugs and alcohol and everything. He used to be like a very famous musician in Puerto Rico. So, like, the famous live and musician and all that sorts in the 80s, coming into the 90s. So I know that dad. I know that he gets very impatient with me. He is aggressive. I know that has physically, hit me at times. I know that, you know what I mean? And in addition, the stepmom that is always trying to create an issue between us. They don't have any of that. They don't have none of that experience. They were born like, I don't know, like 15 years after me. You know what I mean? So they don't know that. But anytime I try to have contact with them, he tries to interfere because he does things, he says things, and he messes up with our relationship. But then months later, he may go to church or something, and then he goes like, oh, I miss her and all that. But I got to a point when I got to 27 years old that I was like, I'm done. Like, I can't anymore. Like, I've done everything. I've been respectful, even though he's not been respectful towards me. I've done it all. Like, I don't understand what else I can do. And the last conversation we had in the fight was because he started attacking my mom. And that's when I went, oh, no, that's it. You're out. Bye. But anyway, the thing is that I immediately realized that you can have a parent difference because you're not gonna get those things. And with him, I know that that's the case because he doesn't even realize, he doesn't even know all the things that have happened because he's ignorant to it. A lot of the things have been my stepmom doing them, so he doesn't realize. And I said, I need to find a way to do some self-healing. And of course I started therapy. I did deal with a lot of it, but it's not, I guess it's not the way to go for me, especially because if a therapist doesn't want to
So
get
when
deep
it
with
comes to therapy, I always say find somebody. Therapy is great, but find somebody who believes in what you believe in, because
yes.
then they can relate to you. Then
Yeah.
it's not foreign to them. They understand where you're coming from. They understand. They get what you
Yeah.
are saying and how you are putting things together and stuff. Because a lot of therapists, I hate to say it, are religion based.
Mine wasn't religion based, but I was talking to an older Asian woman that when I told her I was in an open relationship, she almost had a heart attack. So she does not relate to me whatsoever. And like, whenever we would have a session, it would be like
Again,
a gossip session,
religion
but she
based.
would say nothing, you know? Yeah, no, I definitely have to find someone that relates a little bit more to me for sure. I wanted to go on to show some of the videos that I had from TikTok because we're talking about shadow work. We want to do a little bit of like a reaction to videos. But before I continue, let me see. I have here Zan. Hello, Zan. Hi, everyone. Rosie said that shadow work launched her into a very painful time, but while she went through it, it launched her into a level of healing she never knew she could do. It sounds like that's the common thing. I'm excited. I'm terrified too, but I'm excited.
Yeah.
And she said they didn't have the indication for an inattentive version. Yes, and that is correct. Also, that's very interesting because when I told my mom all the things about ADHD, she was like, I had no idea or anything. And the good thing was that when I did get diagnosed, my psychiatrist did tell me it is more difficult to notice ADHD in women than in men, because usually women have a better time like coping with it and like masking it, and it's kind of difficult to notice. But if
They
my
also
mom,
did more studies on boys than girls. Yeah.
that, so it's more difficult to catch it on women for sure. um oh, hey Jason, Stan is here, they're all saying hi to each other. um Rosie said a lot of our shadow work has to do with trying to heal from the neglect of her needs related to neurodivergence. So I feel like that's one of my biggest ones for sure in my mom's side. With my dad's side is more abandonment in that one, because I just saw the little prompts and the little the like the different kinds of hurt. I
Wound.
don't know what to call it.
Yeah.
Wounds. And I feel like one of my biggest ones with my father would be neglect for sure. Would be abandonment for sure. Um, okay, and I see here that Rosie said, nowadays it's a lot easy to get non-religious therapists. It's important to research and handpick your person. Your location may be a factor, though. Yeah, I feel like in New York I can get people that are more relatable. I
But
just,
I wouldn't say location is a factor because a lot of time, a lot of therapists now are doing video chat, so you
yes,
don't have to go
But
into an office.
depending on your insurance, if you have insurance, for me
yeah,
anyway, I can't see anyone that's out of the state of Ohio. So
Yeah,
yeah, same,
yeah.
same. I have to see someone in New York, but I can definitely do video chats. Okay, so let me show you the videos. This one is previewing how the journal that is viral on TikTok looks, and that's where I saw the wound thing, and I was like, oh, okay, we have classifications for this. We have, I love labels, y'all. I love labels because it helps me understand myself better. And when I saw the wounds thing, I was like, oh, so it's an abandonment wound. Oh, okay, it's this and that. So maybe y'all can see this and it helps you a little. Let's look at it.
Do shadow work with me using a shadow work journal. The first thing you'll do is start off with wound mapping so you can identify what type of wound you're dealing with. Then ground with this list of inner child affirmations. Now do a fill in the blank exercise to explore your subconscious limiting beliefs and understand where they stem from. Set an intention to energetically love and accept your inner shadow and let go. Follow to learn more about shadow work.
So that one shows at the beginning. You saw. Let me see if I can catch a little vibe of it. But it had the neglect wound, the abandonment wound. Which one else was it? Do
I'm
you do
gonna
you
see
have
if
the
maybe
type
has
of
a
them?
list. I don't know. I haven't really dived into this one, so just give me a second.
Yeah, I have a capture of it right here.
Okay,
Okay.
good. Okay.
Yeah, so it is the, I mean, there's obviously different ones, but it is the neglect one, the abandonment wound. Gosh, I'm sorry, y'all. Like, this is like not pausing where I wanted to pause.
Do shadow work with me using a shadow work journal. The
I
first
got
thing
it.
you'll do is start off with wound mapping so you can identify.
There we go. Okay, abandonment wound, the guilt wound, trust wound, or neglect. The guilt is like you usually relate to people that make you feel guilty or manipulate you, right? And there's the abandonment, which is, you feel left out, your fear of being left. You attract people that are emotionally unavailable. I do that all the time. You're codependent. You hate being alone. You threaten to leave people. The trust wound is more about being afraid of being hurt. Don't trust yourself. You find ways not to trust people. You feel insecure and need lots of external validation. Don't feel safe. Normally, you attract people who don't feel safe. I feel like I got that one too. Shit. And neglect wound, which is that you struggle to let things go. You have low self worth. You get angry easily, struggle to say no. You repress emotions. You have fear of being vulnerable, and and you normally attract people who don't approve or make, I don't know, something else. I can't read that part, but you get the general idea. And the guilt wound, I mentioned it. That is, you use guilt to manipulate, or you normally attract people um who make them feel guilty. You are afraid of setting boundaries. You don't like to ask for things, like stuff like that. So it's very interesting to like see those categories and be like, okay, which one you got, and then go like, oh shit, I got them all. You know what I mean? Like it's like, damn it, 4 for 4. Um, which ones? I mean, without going into details, because we don't have to get personal, but which ones do you think that are like the strongest ones that you can identify with? Or
I feel like there's all of them. I have some part that I relate to and I resonate with, obviously, but abandonment is a big one. Neglect is a big one. Trust and guilt. Yeah. I would just say a little bit of everything, but the guilt one's more of my mom self. Like the mom guilt is real with my kids. Like I know I'm a damn good mom, but like I still feel guilty about things.
yeah.
And then like abandonment and neglect is from my father and mother. So yeah. And
I do have a little bit of all of them, but I did mention the abandonment one. I feel like it's the biggest one with my father's side. And now that I think about it, like the guilt, I've always called my mother. I hope my mother doesn't hear this, but I've always called my mother a master manipulator because she has an expertise on that little. No one helps me. No one does this. Blah blah blah. And then anyone here that is the older Latino kid in the house, they know what I'm talking about. I was the one that handled all the business stuff, all the accounts, all the stuff in my house for my mom, like important calls. I got everyone's passwords, like all that shit. That's me. I tell people, for me to set boundaries, I literally left the country. Like that's how it is, because I'm telling you, like, it is things like I had plans for myself in the future, and my mom would be like, yeah, okay, you want to do that, no problem, but what about if you do this first? And I'm like, no, but I want to do this. And I remember once like thinking, okay, I'm going to go with the plan that she's trying to set for me in life, and then I realized that she kept making plans for me to end up in that place, like stay there. Basically, like, just to make an example, I wanted to leave Puerto Rico and find a job in the States and do my own thing, right? And she said, okay, I will help you move out, but finish this degree first, because education is very important for her. I am not an education person. I didn't know that it was because of my ADHD that I couldn't focus at that time, but now we know. But I said, okay, I will do it. Then I realized that she was like, oh, you graduated in 9 months. There's a job in my college that you can take. Oh, there's this that you can take. And it was all like staying there. You know what I mean? So, and family members, not family members, people that have helped me raise me, that have always said that my mom is very overprotective with me. And I immediately noticed, oh shit, she's trying to trap me here. and that's what I was like, you know what, fuck that. And I made my own plan in my own way, and I left on my own, and I literally took just 2 suitcases of clothes and left to be able to set those boundaries. But I know that not everyone has to be that extreme, but when I thought about it, I was like, ooh, guilt. Okay, I know that one. I think those are my 2 biggest ones. What about Uniki?
I'd be like, just a little bit of everything. Just depends on the time, the nature, what triggered it. Uh, a little bit of all of them.
Nice.
I think guilt probably be one of like the top one. because now that both of my parents are gone, it's like I should have did this and I should have did that, and you know, you feel guilty about what you didn't do while they were here.
Right.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's interesting. I I don't know. I say to myself like I wouldn't feel guilty if I didn't give it another chance because I did give it another chance with my dad. But then again, like you never know. Like I don't have your experience, you know. So it's like, but I do feel I'm the kind of person that I give so many chances because I try plenty of things, you know. Like I give so many opportunities, and when I feel satisfied to say I did everything I could, I'm able to move on. Like I'm the kind of person that I like to prove myself, like my intuition and everything, and I give the chances and all that stuff. And then when I get to a point where I'm done, it's because I literally feel satisfied that I tried everything I could. You know what I mean? So I'm very hard to go back to fixing and mending relationships after I'm done. So I feel like I would be okay, but then again, I don't know. I don't have the experience. Like my dad's still up there, and I know where he lives. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but I think that this could help me for sure. Like I'm excited because I'm getting it soon. I'm getting it on Friday. I already ordered it, and I'm definitely gonna go for it because I forget to make appointments with my therapist, and I need a new one. Oh gosh. What are you on your journal, Jess?
I just wanted to read this
Yeah.
sentence. It's the ongoing journey of shadow work and the acceptance of that it's going to be uncomfortable, right? There's a quote by Martin Luther King Jr. Only in the darkness can you see the stars. And then it goes on to say, the relationship you have with your shadow is lifelong and one that you will beckon you time and time again for healing while offering you a deeper understanding of your whole self in the process. This is what the human experience is all about. But the goal is to get to a point where you are continuously addressing the shadow with love, compassion, and most of all, gratitude for the lessons to be gained from it. So I just feel that was important. Like it's like, you have to be grateful for where you're at after the healing, like, because, there's that quote that healing isn't linear. It's going to have ups and downs, and it's not a straight and narrow path. That is treacherous and awful at times. And sometimes it's freeing and exhilarating and feels amazing. But, you know,
I love that.
yeah.
I was gonna share one of the exercise that the journal has on it, which is says release stagnant energy. It says you can do these little exercises to release that energy. It says why. Everything is energy in a world of both the physical and the metaphysical. And when you feel off, this means there is negative energy trapped in your body. Stagnant energy causes you to feel irritated and imbalanced. Many times, stagnant energy will manifest itself in the form of pain or tension in the body. Doing simple actions such as dancing, going on a walk, and meditating will help restore balance and unleash lingering stagnant energy stored within the body. And it gives you little examples. There's one that says touch the earth, draw or doodle, put on a song you love and dance. You can stretch, you can write a poem, you can make art, you can do a gratitude meditation, you can bathe in the sunlight for 10 minutes, you can go for a walk, or you can take a shower and envision the water washing away lingering negative energy. Does any of you practice these things?
It also shows
God.
up. I want to say that it also shows up as weight.
Mm-hmm.
Your body, if you go through a weight gain real fast, 9 times out of 10, that is stagnant energy that has manifested from the spirit to the physical. Belly,
That makes sense.
belly is the first place it goes. Meaning your root, your
Sacral?
sacral, and your my phone. The first three: root, sacral, and
I'm blanking. I'm sorry.
don't worry about it.
And hello, Ray. Hi. For joining us. I have a quote here that I really like too. It says, "What?"
The sacral and solar plexus. Those three, which is actually in your abdomen, in your stomach, like.
Yeah.
So weight is also like twerking is good to boost stagnant energy. Anything that's gonna get your hips and everything moving real good, that's good for stagnant energy as well.
I saw this quote that it says, "Unless you learn to face your own shadows, you will continue to see them in others, because the world outside of you is only a reflection of the world inside of you." That's like Carl
Yes.
Jung.
Get out my business.
Yeah, I was like, Nikki's called out right now.
That's the journal.
That's what I always try to tell myself is like, most of the time, I mean, there's some where I have to take accountability, obviously, but most of the time, the people project on you their own shadow. It's not you. It's their own shit they have to work out.
Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh, ooh. And sometimes your person is the reflection of what you need to work on.
Mm-hmm.
Because I ask myself, like, if somebody do something and I don't like it to the point where it's irritating me, like, yo, I don't even want to be around you. That's when I check myself, like, well, wait a minute, am I like this? And then I have to do self-reflection. Now I'm going back, like, wait a minute, am I? I might be. And it's like, oh God, am I this awful? Am I this awful? You know what I'm saying? So
That's interesting. I was gonna say that's interesting to me because I'm the kind of person that a lot of times like and I have people that tell me, "Oh, this person is like this and that and I don't like it and all that." And I'm like, "Okay." At that point you have to make a decision if you want to deal with that or you just want to remove yourself, because it is not on you to be telling others how to act, or you should never expect the world around you to change. You either learn to accept it or you get out of it, because if it is too much. So it's interesting that you said that, because I've always been a believer of, if something bothers me on someone else, it is not my job to make them change it. I need to know if it's something that is so bad that I cannot be there, or if it's something that I need to work on. Like, it's basically like it's my problem. It is not on me to make you better or change you or whatever. And that goes for everything. Like, if you're in a relationship and the person that you're with is not giving you what you want, why would you ever try to change that person and make them do those things? It
Yeah, because then
obviously
it's
doesn't
not genuine. Yeah.
exactly. It doesn't come out of them. And it doesn't matter what you do. They could change it for a minute. And of course there are things that, you communicate, you compromise and all of that. But if it's something like cores of your relationship that are not good, it is on you to be like, is this my problem? Or or you know what I mean? But you cannot expect people to change, is what I mean. I have here Ray saying, I need to do a lot of twerking because that's where I carry all my weight. And here I thought it was just my Hashimoto's making me fat.
I have Hashimoto's too. It's like part physical, part spiritual.
Hey,
Hi.
Yeah, so it definitely yeah, you gotta twerk a lot to release that stagnant energy for sure. That is very interesting what you said. So I have one more video if we want to react to it,
Okay.
which is about shadow work, but this one is like talking more about exactly what we were talking about relationships and like people in your life. So let me just play it for y'all and see what you think about it. And this is from Marcus Crystals on TikTok. Let's see.
Stop scrolling. This is a quick shadow work prompt. Watch my playlist on shadow work if you don't really grasp what shadow work is. So you want to start off by making a list of people that you exchange energy with on a regular basis. This could be like on a weekly basis or a few times a month. These people need to all be on the list. Then you need to see, are there any people on this list that you actually don't want to continue exchanging energy to? Are there people in your life that you're currently entertaining and exchanging energy with that you kind of don't want to? And then you want to ask yourself, why are you doing that? After you ask yourself why, you're going to figure out that you're entertaining them because of guilt, because you've known them for a long time, because you can't imagine life without them, because you feel like you'll miss out on something. Find out why you're entertaining them, because if you don't want to be around them, you don't want to exchange energy with them, then you should probably stop doing that. You're going to learn a lot about yourself.
Basically what we were talking about a little bit there. So what do you think about that? About that prompt? Have you ever done that one?
I think I've subconsciously have done that, like, and maybe a little too late after the fact of blocking people, blowing up on people, or it's always come after the fact where it's like, damn, I could have, talked to them, like not in the very moment, but like maybe I should have done a little bit of like reevaluation before I did the blowing up or blocking, or, because there's obviously something wrong there. And it's not, like you said, necessarily always them. It's you too. Like you have to take accountability where you need to work on. There's obviously some wound that's triggered, and so
I have done that also, like not in a prompt like that or a journal, because we made a point that I don't keep a journal right now, but I have mentally done that exercise. And I will say that it depends on the person. If it's because I'm dealing with someone that is a narcissist, that is always the victim, that doesn't take accountability, that everyone is always the problem, that if I know I'm dealing with that kind of person, I'm not going to try to have the conversation, because I'm never going to get to the point. They're going to either deny it or get defensive or make me even madder. And I'm never going to get an apology or anything. So when I'm dealing with people like that, I'm like, fuck the conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're just going to gaslight you.
Exactly. But I definitely have made the little list in my head of like, do I need this person in my life? I don't. I'm better off without it. And I learned a lot that there were a lot of acquaintances in my life that I was doing too much for, and that I didn't really get anything out of that relationship. So I kind of was like, okay, bye. And the funny thing is that because it's people like that, when you disappear, they don't even go looking for you. They don't even notice. And if someone don't notice that you're not in their life like that, you know what I mean? Like if you gotta be the person to always make an effort, to always start a conversation, to always invite them to shit, to always, you're not their friend, baby. Like, just
nope.
Move on.
I just go by if you're not invited, don't invite yourself. Like
exactly. I mean, there are times that I understand there are people that I know that are like really busy, and we're all in different groups and we're on different pots and everything. And they had no idea that maybe I was interested in doing something. That's very different. I understand busy people. I do understand that. But when you believe that someone is close to you and you are always putting their name in the room, but they never do that for you, that's it. That's the kind of people that you, and believe me, I've been through those. I've been through those. But yeah, I'm excited. I want to do that prompt too, like checking who do I talk to a lot and seeing if there's any that I'm like, I don't want to talk to this person no more. A lot of them are probably going to be like because of work, networking and whatever, which that one's understandable because it's, it's work. You got
Yeah, obviously everyone has their own lives, but there's like a certain cusp of like does this person mean more to you than you do to them? So
right. That is correct. That is correct. But yeah, I wonder, is there any of y'all that are gonna be adding a shadow work journal in your activities from now on in the comments? Oh, I have it here. If you want to check, do you have a prompt that is like interesting from your journal, Jess, that you would like to share?
I actually have a shadow work tarot spread,
Ooh.
and it's how to start shadow work. So if you're kind of like, if you have a tarot reader, me or Nikki, or if you read cards yourself, this is something that you can work. I'm going to post this on my Instagram story after.
Oh, please.
So if anyone wants to see that on my Instagram, Just Tea Cakes, I'll be posting that. But it's a 6-card spread. I don't know if you could. There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. I'll just read them off.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one, you can pull more than 6 cards, of course, if you want clarity on what it is. But just at the basis, number 1, what do I need to know about this part of my shadow? Number 2, what is preventing me from accessing it? Number 3, how does this shadow manifest as a problem? Number 4, what's a good next step I can take to bring this to light? Number 5, how can I most usefully approach this shadow work? And number 6, what can I expect to feel in the early phase of this process? Now, of course, you have free will with anything. Yeah. Tarot, spirituality. So, don't take this at 100% face value. Just use it as a tool to get you there.
Okay.
If you're stuck and you don't know where to start, and if a journal is not your thing,
Sorry, my camera decided to die.
But I'm still hear you though.
Yeah, I'm still here, y'all. That is interesting because that means that, okay, so basically it's like you ask, while you read the tarot, you ask each question coming, like hard phrase. Okay, got it. Like that.
Just using your tarot or oracle as a way of just like accessing like your higher self or spirit, or just like what you need to know that like, or like maybe your ego's in the way and you're like, oh, I need to work on my abandonment issues. And that's like really, really loud, but it's like, no, your guilt is needing work. Like, why do you feel so guilty? Like, why do you feel like you need to apologize all the time? Like, maybe that needs more attention.
I might need help with that because that's a great way to start. Because if I stand there, there's like so many things that you don't know even where to go. And I feel like that was one of my issues with therapy too, that it's like they sit there and they're like, what's the problem? And you're like, bitch, what isn't? Like, the hell?
Yeah, like you tell me.
Like, am I gonna have to tell you my whole life story? And that's the funny thing. Like, I remember when I started with therapy, all of our sessions were like, I'm gonna tell you a story of what I've been through. And of course, my biggest one is my dad. So I told her this is my relationship with my father. And it took like 3 sessions just to explain how did I get to a point of not talking to him anymore. And she was like, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a very similar, not exactly the same, but when you were talking about your father and like your younger siblings, I have a very similar story with my biological father. So that really got me thinking of like, because like he hasn't been in my life since I was 12. So I'm like, why do I need to address it? Like he obviously like doesn't give a shit. So, but I'm still thinking like maybe I need to heal that still.
Yes. And that's exactly me, because it was like around the same age actually. Like I had like a little break in our relationship around like 11, 12. And I still talk to him because like I felt obligated to every now and then to talk on the phone, but I didn't see him until I was like 17 or 18.
Mm.
And then he started like trying to build a relationship again, and I'm like, okay, let's try again. But then it got to a point where I was like, okay, no, I can't. Like we can't be together. Like this, you and me, no, it's not possible.
No,
So
yeah.
I'm done. But yeah, it's a good way to start this work. I feel like doing the tarot. I love that. I love the crystal also, but I feel like the guided tarot would be a great first step for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I feel like we had a great topic. I just want to share one little more thing because in the shadow journal that is being promoted all over TikTok, that was the thing that sparked this conversation. There is I don't know if it's at the end of the journal or at the beginning, but there's a page that says I blank, put in your name, vow on this day to commit to my personal growth and acceptance. I promise to fill this journal out with an open heart and good intentions. I acknowledge that there are both pure and impure thoughts, impure parts to my being, and I choose to embrace and nurture my wounds. I look forward to unveiling my shadows and bringing more light into this world through personal healing. I guess that's the beginning of the journal. I'm guessing it's like a little commitment page, like you have like a little promise, like pinky finger and stuff graphic on it. And I feel like that's great because it kind of talks about this, the thing that you've been saying, just that you do have to be accountable also for your things. Like the healing, it's also looking at yourself. So I thought that was a cute little thing that they had at the beginning of the journal, and I look forward to it. Well,
Who's ready to get comfortable in their uncomfortableness? Like, seriously.
I guess I damn am. I might as well take this little vacation that I have to do this. So I'll be hitting y'all up for the tarot in the beginning of the shadow work. I definitely will. We need to get on that. If there's anyone that has any questions, please message us on our witchy.iheartbbw.com. I'm trying to look at the link here. There we go. There we go. You can send your questions to our tarot readers to witchy.iheartbbw.com, and there you can also find their pages, their social media, and also any sites for you to give them tips if you would like, or for you to contact them to do any tarot reading or any spiritual guidance or conversation you want to have. You can have them with them. And I'm gonna let you guys say goodbye unless you have anything to add about shadow work. What else? Do you want to close it out with something, a statement about shadow work, y'all?
I would say this really quick.
Yeah.
If you are into yoni eggs are a great way um, get into to help alongside with shadow work as well. The black obsidian and the black onyx or the natural agate is three of them that are used for grounding and shadow work. Um, so we're really gonna have to tap into the yoni eggs so I can really put y'all on to how yoni eggs really helps with just your spiritual journey in total and everything.
A whole guide on how to put the yoni egg on and all that stuff from you, Nikki.
Everything. I'm telling you. It's worth it. It's worth it.
I have a whole episode on that for sure.
Once you start practicing with them, you're not gonna stop.
Okay. And Nikki, tell us your socials for everyone.
So you can find me, you guys, everywhere. IG, Twitter, Facebook, everywhere at Nikki Chevelle, um, for the time being.
Thank you so much. And Jess, do you have any final thoughts about shadow work and tips?
Just do not be so judgmental of yourself. The world is already harshly judging you as it is. So give yourself grace and
Yes, yes.
pick yourself up, give yourself a tight hug, and let's go for it,
And be patient with yourself.
Patience, yes.
Mhm.
And yeah.
I'll let them know where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at Just Tea Cakes, and all of my links and other socials will be there.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And I am Big Big Sherry. You can't see me, but I am here. You can find me at bigbigcherry.com. And I'm sure I will let y'all know about my shadow work and how my process has been going. If y'all see me struggling, just keep send me good vibes, please, because it's gonna be harsh. There's a lot of, I mean, I'm not gonna say that I had a horrible childhood or anything, but having a mental illness that was not diagnosed, your parents not understanding you, and all the other things, it can create a lot of issues. And I know a lot of people can relate to that. So yeah, just keep me in your thoughts.
We'll keep each other accountable.
Right. Thank you. Okay, well, everyone, it's been a great episode. Thank you for joining us. Have a good night and see you next week. Bye-bye.